I am a 35 years old guy, and I was lucky enough to marry my crush, 27, 2 years ago. We met at work, where she was a receptionist for the big building my company is in. Anyways, she has two daughters, 6 and 7 years old. When I married my wife, I was a bit iffy at the idea of being a dad so fast and so suddenly to two kids that aren't mine, but I love my wife so much I am willing to sacrifice my man time and a portion of my salary to take care of the kids. To be honest, I've had my ups and downs with them, you know, kids, and sometimes I think I'd be happier going back to my lone wolf life. But I fully know that this is my life now, and I try my best to get over it and do what I signed up for. Back to this story. I know the kid's dad had died only from my wife's words, and I've never had reason to doubt that. It has been 2 or 3 months since she started convincing me that I should adopt them as a birthday gift for both of them. Their birthday happens in 2 consecutive days. Coincidence? I'd be fine with that, it's just paper for what I would do anyways. I agreed to that, and she said she'd get on with the documents. Well, fantastic. I thought. I like not having to do anything. What really got me suspicious is how she changed her behavior with her phone and laptop. She started putting the phone face down, and she created a totally different user for her laptop she switches to when she's with me. I thought she was cheating, so I did what every idiot like me would do, I spied on her. Long story short, I come to know by a very reliable source that her ex-husband isn't paying alimony anymore as he is in jail with no money to his account. The world crushed on me. First I thought the guy was dead, now I discover he is alive, paying alimony to my wife's bank account while I was financially providing too. I confronted my wife and she didn't deny any of it. She started crying and she was adamant that she did that only for the kids' well-being. She was putting the alimony money he ex was giving her into an account for when the kids will be 18 years old. I have no proof of that. She also said that it was a while since she felt I should adopt them as they love me and they look up to me. She was firm about stating that nothing happened with her ex-husband while she was with me. She said that her ex is dead for her by all means. She admitted that she lied, but for good purposes, as she was scared that a guy like me would be scared by her reckless past. That's not who she is anymore, as she is focused on family and on us. Now, I need to find out more about her ex-husband, that's for sure. I am also furious with my wife for not trusting me enough to come clean about her past. Meanwhile, will I be an idiot if I refuse to adopt the kids? They have a dad and he's alive, and if I state that I will retract from them all the financial support in case I decide to get a divorce. Not the idiot, sounds like she's trying to get you in a position where you'll be legally obligated to pay if you ever get divorced. Seems to me like she's trying to take advantage of you. The fact she would lie about her ex being dead in order to cover up the fact she is getting financial support makes it seem that she has ulterior motives. She wants you to adopt after she stops getting money from the dad. Sounds like she's seen you coming and used you. Everyone's the idiot here. Honestly, everyone here sounds like an idiot. You don't sound very invested in the kids, like you literally said you'd rather not have to deal with them. Why in the world did you marry a single mother? And she's an idiot for not telling you everything. I feel horrible for her kids, they don't deserve this. As harsh as this might sound, you'd probably be best just cutting your losses now and filing for divorce. Your marriage is based on lies, there's not really a way to come back from that. When you married this woman you must have realized that her kids were included in the package deal, but you're talking about them as if they are no part of your family at all. The kids are innocent in this, and you're talking about punishing them for their mother's mistakes. You clearly don't trust your wife and you clearly don't want to take care of her kids. File for divorce and remove yourself from the situation completely. My daughter, 15, is 5.6 feet, and the last time she weighed herself at the doctor's office she was at 238 pounds. She is morbidly obese. She was always a chubby kid who loved food and hated activity, no matter how much her dad and I tried to get her to dance, play sports, go on walks with our dog, etc. she would refuse. I regret not taking her to a nutritionist earlier, but I thought that she would go into puberty and her weight would eventually be okay. Unfortunately, when she was 11 her dad and I decided to get a divorce. No special reason, it just wasn't working. We co-parent well, we're friendly, we go on trips with our daughter etc., but the divorce impacted her negatively at first. She started gaining a lot of weight around that time, so we decided to take her to a nutritionist who recommended therapy for her. She initially lost about 15 pounds, but she was already very dependent on food. Now, she's a food addict. Her emotional eating was something she used to cope with a divorce until she adjusted, but now it's all about compensating for not having friends, compensating for not being pretty, compensating for not being liked by boys, etc. She still goes to therapy regularly. She doesn't suffer from depression or another health condition that might cause her weight gain. She is simply addicted to food, and at her vulnerable age, mentioning her weight to her makes her very upset and uncomfortable. Her dad and I both know this, and it's been causing arguments between us. I'm a very active, fit person, and I try to lead by example. No junk food allowed in the house. I cook as much as I can, or I get healthy meal delivery, and this makes me the bad guy. She's into the whole body acceptance movement, and she sold the story to her dad, who now allows her to raid his pantry and they eat junk together, just so he wouldn't upset her, because she's daddy's little girl. He's happy that he gets to be the good guy, and I'm the villain who doesn't want her daughter to settle, because I want her to live past 35. I encourage her to love herself. I want her to embrace how amazing she is, but I don't want her to accept her condition as something normal that can't be changed. I'm tired seeing how miserable she is because of her weight, and I'm tired of thinking about all the diseases that could kill her. I found a great weight management treatment facility, edited instead of camp, because it's very different from the infamous fat camps for teens that's 6 hours away. I've done my research, but her dad doesn't want to sign for her to go there from January to July. We can visit her and she can come home once a month. She can go to school there, make friends and get healthy. He says that I'm being a selfish idiot and that our daughter doesn't want to go. She told me that she will think about it, but I think that her dad is loving his role as her superhero because they've bonded in the past months and will encourage her not to go. Am I the idiot? You said your daughter is even considering going, so I would say not the idiot. Your ex seems to be making this about your divorce and being the better parent, and that's really just childish considering your child's health is on the line. I agree with the other comments saying you should get her help for the eating disorder. Find a therapist that specializes in that area. Considering you've attempted all the obvious avenues, I'll say not the idiot. The only stop after here is gastric bypass surgery, but that won't teach your daughter good habits. A lot of people who get that procedure gain the weight back anyway. It seems to resolve this permanently. You will have to take your ex-husband to court and amend the parenting agreement to include your daughter's nutrition. Dad is 100% the idiot. Slightly unrelated, but have you considered getting sole legal custody of your daughter? It seems dad is being uncooperative by letting her eat however she wants when she is with him. Sole legal custody would put you in charge of her healthcare. This might make you look more like the bad guy though if dad pushes that agenda, but it could end up helping your daughter in the long run. Not 100% sure this would work, so consult an attorney and see what they say first. My daughter moved away 2 years ago to attend university. Since starting school she has gone through many changes as a person, many of which I find difficult to get behind. She's rejected and mocked our faith, rebranded her entire identity, and now lives in some kind of interesting situation. We've argued and fought over many things repeatedly over these past couple years. When the lockdown began, it gave ample opportunity to give space between us as she didn't visit at all for the summer or even this Thanksgiving. Our interactions have broken down to the occasional phone call, and overall the separation has helped us be more amicable. I've accepted her new hobbies and dress. I use the pronoun she prefers when speaking to her. That being said, my husband and my younger daughter are really adamant about having her stay over during Christmas break this year. They miss seeing and has spent the past couple weeks trying to convince me to allow her to come. I'm extremely wary to have her come as things have gotten better, mostly because we've been so apart. Regardless, I relented and decided to invite her. In my last call with her, I asked her to come over for the holidays. She was being hesitant in giving me a straight answer, but ultimately said alright. She however wanted to bring her partners with her. I flatly told her that I wouldn't allow that. She tried to argue her side, but I honestly was not willing to shake my stance. I told her if she wanted to come for the holidays she would have to come alone. She told me she wasn't coming, and that was it. My husband has tried to get me to call her back, but I haven't done it so far. I do not want to invite attention, that lifestyle to my younger daughter, and frankly I think it's weird for her to be dating two people at once. Still my family won't stop prodding me about this, which is starting to affect the way I feel about how I handle the situation. You're the idiot. Why, if your husband and younger daughter want your older daughter to stay for the holidays, do you think that you and you alone should get to make that call? You're being very selfish. As for your concerns about your younger daughter seeing her sister's relationship, I would be more concerned about the risk of harm you could cause her by showing her that your love is conditional. This would be a completely different conversation if they accepted your religion and chose a nice young man who also accepted it. Things change, people change, this is always who they has been but was probably too scared to show it because of how you are. Honestly, if you can't accept them for who they are, consider this your funeral. Is this really the hell to die on? I can't believe how many people are here telling you to get over it, even though you don't like it and aren't comfortable. At the end of the day it's your home, and if you aren't comfortable with it you're not. It's absolutely going to damage your relationship with your child, but at the same time they shouldn't be trying to force you to accept their lifestyle. Guess they forgot she attacked your religion as well, will they go at you for not accepting her? I met my wife when she was 27. She was in college at that time and had a 1-year-old son with her ex-boyfriend. He cheated on her and left, but she wanted to be able to provide for her kid herself, so she went back to school. He was supposed to pay her child support and see him twice a month, but neither happened and my wife was, and still is, too proud to anything about it. She hasn't seen a dime of his money. I was 25 at that time and was in so much debt after starting my own company. We eventually got married and she now has a great career and my business is doing very well. I raised a boy as my own and he's my son in every way possible except legally. I love him just as much as I love my 2 younger daughters. I'm the only dad he's ever known and that's what he calls me. Several years ago, my wife and I talked about the possibility of me adopting him and she wants me to, but every time she brings it up to the ex, she still hates his guts, he drags his feet and says he doesn't want to. This man hasn't seen his kid since the boy was 1, by the way. One of the reasons I really want to adopt him is cause I want to guarantee custody if anything were to happen to my wife. So recently her ex and pretty much everyone he knew by the looks of it a long Facebook message about how his daughter has cancer and how he can't afford to pay for her treatment along with all the medical bills and pictures of her in the hospital. Why he thought it was a good idea to send this to me and my wife, I have no clue. I think the man was desperate. He needed about $30,000 to make it through the year. My wife felt sorry for the kid but didn't say much after. I have kids too, so as a father trying to provide, I could sympathize. $30,000 is something that I can definitely afford. My wife and I have separate finances. I thought about it and figured that if I could get him to allow me to adopt my son, I could give him the money. I told my wife and she told me that she'd be more than happy if I was legally able to adopt our son, but she didn't want to be involved in any deals I make with him. Now I'm wondering, would I be the idiot if I offered? A bit part of me thinks this is the perfect solution to make everyone happy, but a small part of me thinks I'm taking advantage of the situation. Not the idiot. You can offer. He can say no. But if he says no, I'd suggest you do what you should have done the first time he said no. Go file for child support. Make it an either or. Either he's all the way in, he supports his child, makes regular visits, etc., or he's all the way out. Right now, he's treating his son like a fallback option. It's not fair for you, your wife, or the child. When you get the process started for child support, you can give him the option again to sign away his parental rights. I honestly don't know, but this feels kind of horrible to me. Like you're buying, and he's selling a child. And he's in a desperate situation with a child with cancer. As if the offer of money is being made, and he'd accept under duress. How do you explain that to your son when he's grown? Your half-sister had cancer and he needed money, so we made a deal. I don't think the intentions are bad, and maybe the ends justify the means, but it gives me a lot of pause. I just see a lot of pitfalls in this. I get it, I really do. But why the hell would you ever think that dangling an offer like this in front of a man who could lose his daughter to cancer is a good deal in any way, shape or form? Would you seriously be okay knowing that you dangled money for cancer treatment in front of someone in order to adopt your son. There are other ways to go about it. I'm sorry, this is a really slimy offer, you would be the idiot. My husband has a childhood friend who we'll call Eric. Their parents are friends and so they've grown up together and consider each other brothers, since they're both the only sons in their respective families. I've never been overly fond of Eric, but I've never actually disliked him until now. It turns out Eric has been cheating on his wife, Amy, the mother of his 2 small children, with a coworker. Amy kicked him out and now he needs a place to stay because he doesn't want anyone in his family to find out what he did, and none of his other friends have room for him. When my husband asked if he could let him stay, I flat out refused. I'm currently 7 months pregnant, and throughout my pregnancy Amy has been a massive support. There is no way I'm going to let the man who broke her heart stay with me so he can keep his dirty little secret. My husband is pissed because he claims me and Amy were never that good of friends to begin with, which is true until my pregnancy, and that he can't refuse his brother when what he did wasn't even that bad. After a lot of arguing he says he's going to move him in tomorrow, whether I agree or not, because this is his house. I'm ashamed to admit I lost it. I told him if he even dares to bring him, I'll move out the same day, and that it says a lot about him that he's willing to side with a cheater. My husband is now angry at me because I'm threatening to take away his baby from him and hasn't spoken to me since. I believe he's still planning to let Eric stay. Before this, we never really fought, and the silent treatment is starting to make me feel like a real idiot. Some of my friends say I'm the idiot because I shouldn't get involved in Eric and Amy's marital problems, but others agree it would be horrible to help him after what he's done. I honestly don't know if I overstepped. I don't want to move out, it was something I said in the heat of the moment, but I feel like I'll have to if Eric moves in now. Am I the idiot for threatening to leave the house if he moves Eric in? And if he does move in, do I follow through? Not the idiot. Your husband is being a piece of work straight from the dump, saying that cheating isn't that bad and dismissing the fact you've a supportive, kind friend during your pregnancy. People of the community will find out eventually anyways. Harboring the one that had the affair in your home looks like poor taste from outside opinion. Why can't he stay with a woman who he was having the affair with? Not the idiot. How about having a conversation with your husband about how he thinks cheating isn't that bad? If it's not that bad, then Eric should have no problem staying with his parents or sister and letting his family find out, cause it's not that bad, right? Why keep it a secret from Eric's family if it's not bad? You're not under obligation to keep Eric's secrets. If your husband moves him in, stand by your words and leave. He is trying to control you and keep you from leaving because that would raise questions and possibly reveal Eric's secret. There is something deeper than Eric and his secret. You may not know it yet, but sounds like Eric and your husband cover for each other a lot. Oh, I'm sorry, what Eric did wasn't even that bad. Absolutely not. It is terrible, and your relationship with Amy has nothing to do with your husband siding with a cheater. He should find this behavior vile, whether or not he and you know Amy. More so because you do. Standing up for someone being cheated on is always the right thing to do. Not the idiot. Also, your husband, red flag right there.